Simple question, is this the end of Lyft's autonomous vehicle ambitions, or is it something different?
No, actually, we've had an autonomous platform, which is actually the deployment of autonomous vehicles being built for quite some time. We're actually the leader in commercializing autonomous vehicles. We've done over 100,000 paid AV rides. And this is doubling down on that part of our strategy so that we are focused on the piece that we do. The level 5 work, which was the name of our program that we've been doing, has been successful. Obviously, Toyota saw that opportunity. And this allows us to work with multiple partners to bring the best and safest technology to the platform for our customers, and to focus on the customer experience and the marketplace technology along with the fleet management that is critical to the success of autonomous vehicles.
I guess, what was the biggest impetus for Lyft? Was it cash flow concerns on the core business? Was it the technology itself and what it would take to bring it to market? What pushed you to do the deal?
It was the long-term strategy and how the world or the industry of AVs has changed over the last 4 or 5 years since we got started building out that program. So when we started, it wasn't clear that there would be multiple well-funded autonomous vehicle providers. And today, there are several well-funded autonomous vehicle providers, and we brought a new approach to market. Our team had done data-driven autonomy that was basically building an autonomous system based off fleet information so you could use real scenarios to make the system better and better. So now that differentiated approach is in the market, and when the transaction closes, we'll be with Toyota. So we've now brought another well-funded player with a new approach to market. And there's only 2 major networks in North America for transportation. And we believe we're in the best position, given that we're the only ones doing fleet management, which is absolutely essential in an autonomous vehicle future. And we have what we believe is the best marketplace technology.
Then talk us through the timeline from Lyft's perspective. When will we see Lyft rides in the real world that are fully autonomous, and what gets you there?
Yeah, so as mentioned, we have done over 100,000 autonomous vehicle rides. Those do have a safety driver in them. So if your question is when that safety driver will be removed, that will likely be over the next 2 or 3 years. We've announced a partnership to bring them to market in multiple cities in 2023, and that will continue to scale from there.
Does this move impact any potential for Lyft to diversify its business? Do you think that you will move into the delivery of foods or goods or any other forms of autonomous transport in the future?
So we've already talked about one thing that we're doing is now B2B or business focused delivery, so that we can be a platform for retailers to have a national and into Canada infrastructure for deliveries without needing to rely on a consumer marketplace. But we are extremely focused on what we do and what we do well. It's allowed us to increase our market share, improve our service to drivers and riders over the last several years. And that focus is on consumer transportation, which is, in our opinion, a multi-trillion-dollar opportunity and one that requires deep focus.
You've said you received interest from a number of parties. Why Toyota? How did you reach an agreement with them?
Well, what was most important to us is that it was the right transaction long-term for us and our shareholders, and that the people and technology were going to a place where they would be fully appreciated. And so all of the team members are going over to the Toyota subsidiary, Woven Planet. They believed in our approach on data-driven autonomy and how that ties to a rideshare network. And there's a long-term opportunity for us to work with what last year on a sales volume was the largest, I believe, OEM for vehicles.
One of the largest OEMs in the world, of course, but some would argue that Toyota actually is lagging behind when it comes to autonomous technology. What do you see in their ability to catch up?
I see that they now have a phenomenal team, a world-class team that we've helped build over the last 4 years. Again, that has a unique approach. And then, you know, that's why this deal made a lot of sense. It allows them to leapfrog further into the space. And we had built that team that was ready for them to do so, and apply it to their broad platform of vehicles.
You and I are both in the Bay Area. We're used to seeing test vehicles on the streets of San Francisco. It's a familiar sight. One idea that Toyota is working on is Woven City, right? A prototype city of the future where, I guess, autonomous vehicles are more commonplace. Do you have plans to visit Woven City? Do you think a prototype city like that is a quicker way to market?
I would love to visit it. I do have plans to go to Japan and visit with the team as COVID continues to improve. I love city planning and city infrastructure and the implications that autonomous vehicles and just frankly the mobility that Lyft's bringing to market allows for cities to be designed around people and not cars. And so I love that they not only think about the vehicle, but also the city infrastructure and the city design. And it's something that I'm also personally passionate about.
Was some of the rationale behind this deal, because you had a number of suitors, that the partner or Toyota's subsidiary takes on the financial burden, but Lyft still gets access to the data and technological development? Is this you basically de-risking your autonomous approach?
I think, again, it's twofold. One, it's that we want to make sure we are in the best position for the transition and that we can focus on what we do well, which is the transportation network, which is the dispatch of vehicles, when and where they're dispatched, how they're dispatched, the hybrid network with both human drivers and autonomous vehicles, the marketplace technology and the fleet management. And by, sure, you could call it de-risking, but I would call it, focusing on those elements. It allows us to work with Toyota as well as many other partners in the AV space to do our role well and to let them do theirs.
One final quick question, John, as we're short on time. 5 years from now, what level of autonomy, real autonomy, will we see on public streets, public roads in the United States?
I believe in major urban cores, you will see cars that are able to drive around with safely and frankly, likely much more safe than human-driven vehicles. You'll see that in multiple cities across the country.